We are the Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association.
We are the Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association.
Business in Pennsylvania.
And business in Pennsylvania is our business.
Let's start by talking about some of these individual things. You already hit on the property tax. The people of Pennsylvania have heard that refrain before, that the property taxes could be lowered. From a public relations standpoint, the people that I talk to, they're very pessimistic whenever they hear a politician say, I'm going to lower your property taxes, because every year there are promises and proposals, and it just hasn't happened to any significant result. So from that standpoint, talk about that uphill battle just to try to win over the people to believe it could happen.
Yeah, I think there are two things. I think you're absolutely right. We've been talking about it for, as far as I can tell, back since the 80s, when the property tax started becoming a bigger issue. And we've seen precious little. So there's the skepticism is right. I think the second thing is that people are concerned that when we have actually had some movement on property tax reform, the local school districts have come back in 2 or 3 years, and before you know it, the taxes have come back up. So there's some skepticism as to whether if you could do it, would it stick? And I think both of those things are legitimate. In my budget proposal, I have a realistic plan to drop property taxes for homeowners, and in certain areas for businesses as well. So I think the credibility in terms of whether we want to do it or not, or whether we can do it, I have a plan for doing that. The Republicans have proposed a plan that has some similarities. There's some important, I think, differences, but I think both sides are showing that this time we are going to propose and get something done on property tax reduction.
I will say, as a property tax payer, it is good to at least see a blueprint on each side, so we know
blueprint.
You all have a starting point to compare notes.
But now the second issue is still out there, and that is, is it going to stick? If we deliver on that substantial property tax reduction for you and the rest of Pennsylvania, are we going to see school districts really nullify that over the next 3, 4, or 5 years? So in this plan, I have my own way of saying, no, that can't happen. That there's something called if your reserves as a percentage of your annual school district budget is in the 8 to 12% range right now for school districts around Pennsylvania. If it's below that, you can raise taxes without a referendum. I'm proposing to reduce that to 4% dramatically, so that school districts, unless they're below 4%, which is almost out of money, they just can't raise taxes unless they go out and ask the voters in that district, and the voters can then make that decision. But it makes it really hard for school districts to do what they've done in the past. So I'm trying to make this real tax reduction, and I'm trying to make it stick.